What is up? I hope you are well. I hope you had a good Juneteenth, especially if you are Black. I am Jasmine. My name is Jasmine Kylene, and I'm coming at you live to talk a little bit about the summer solstice that is happening tomorrow, because this is just good freaking vibes, bro. And at this point, I just want to talk about what is good. Hi, thank you for joining. It must be so early. I realize with the time difference that I be going live crazy hours of the day for you guys, but it's just, the summer solstice is tomorrow, and it is not only obviously a beautiful pivoting point for us in terms of the season and then the energy that we're moving into, but also there's some gorgeous astrology happening. It marks the day that we move into Cancer season, as well as Venus trining Pluto, and I just feel it's such a gorgeous time to really work with the energy of the sun while honoring the energy of the moon. So I'm going to talk just really briefly, also because my screen time is going to go up. I have it locked and I don't know the password because I am an addict and I needed to go at that kind of length to detach myself from Instagram. But I'm going to really quickly speak on a couple of ways that you can work with the summer solstice energy. The first one being the journaling prompts that I shared on the page, because the thing about it is this is such a good time to set intention on what you want this next chapter of life to look like for you, of what you want to call in, of what you sort of want to do with all of the information that Mercury retrograde has really gifted us. This last full moon, that super moon, I am still recovering from it. All these moon transits, this retrograde season that we're still in with Saturn and Pluto as well. I think all of that has been so informative in terms of what do we no longer want to feed and make room for energetically in our lives. And so with that information, we kind of want to work with the summer solstice energy that is really sort of marking this movement into light and into action and into initiation, to be centered and driven by awareness of okay, I've learned so much about what it means to actually live in my authenticity. How am I going to now filter that through the lens of authenticity? So with that being said, what's so beautiful about this astrology is that not only do we have the summer solstice, right? So we're celebrating the sun, we're celebrating divine masculine, being in that state of action and taking action, but the sun is moving into the sign of Cancer, which is ruled by the moon, which is obviously what honors divine feminine, right? Rest, recovery, intuition, receiving. So I think it's really important that, especially with the journaling prompts that I shared and that I'll mention again right now, to make sure that the intentions that you set and the forward movement that you beget right now, that it is all in alignment with what it means to first honor your emotional authority, your emotional bandwidth, your intuitive compass, and most importantly, make sure that you do not burn yourself out with the excitement of initiation to the point where you aren't actually honoring all of the rest that your body has probably gotten accustomed to, since we have been slowing down our movement a bit. So yeah, don't think that, hi, thank you for joining. Don't think that because we're in this season of light and going and doing, that it should only be that, because I think if we treat one extreme with another extreme, we can just inevitably get burnt out. So it really is honoring what the moon teaches us, while now inviting in more of what the sun teaches us, which is that we can take action, but it has to be aligned and emotionally aligned action. And we can move forward as long as it honors what our ancestors have taught us and what they desire to live through us. Balancing divine masculine with divine feminine, in whatever ways you see yourself sort of teetering on either end of the spectrum, really making sure that you are balancing that out, and that you are just making sure that all the action that you choose and set intention to do right now is filtered through the lens of rest, of intuition, of emotional safety, emotional capability, emotional bandwidth. And most importantly, I really think that we don't talk about this enough with the sign of Cancer, but it really honors ancestors and those that came before us and our maternal lineage. So you really want to make sure that so much of the life that you are building for yourself honors, the women or women identifying that came before you, and really resting in that truth as you move forward in the truth that you are choosing for yourself. I hope that makes sense. I say that at least once anytime I go live. I just hope that someone out there understood that. But with that being said, first and foremost, you really want to make sure that you are journaling to first kind of get in line with okay, what does my body want? What is my subconscious saying? And then you want to set intention. So some journaling prompts that I shared on the page that I'm very excited to do literally tonight. Or I guess I should do it today. One of the things I'm going to mention today, that's really important that you spend some time in the sun if you have access and accessibility to the sun. So I'm going to do some journaling today during the day. But what lies at the intersection of my wants and needs? What does my most vibrant timeline look like? And I really want to like specify the word vibrant there. Like, what does my richest, loudest, most beautiful life look like? What does that timeline look like? What aligned action am I being called to take? And this isn't aligned action I think I need to take, I'm expected to take, it's time to take. Like, what aligned action am I being called to take? What aligned action honors my emotional safety, my emotional bandwidth, all of that? What weight can I put down, and how can I invite in more light instead? So really recognize what sources of life are in your life right now. I said the word life way too many times. And that means people, that means hobbies, activities, outlets, creative outlets. What is a source of light in your life, and how can you invite that in while making room for it by ridding anything that is heavy in your life right now? Are my mind, body, and soul being taken care of? You really want to make sure that in aligning yourself with this era of action, that your mind, your body, and your soul are at ease and they're at a state of comfort, especially with the sun moving into Cancer. And lastly, what is my personal definition of fun, of abundance, and freedom individually? I would invite you to like really self-define that. I had such a moment yesterday where I've been like sitting with a lot of shifts and changes in terms of like job and what that means for me financially, and I got so stuck in this like fear-based mindset. And then I went to a Juneteenth picnic where I was just immersed in community and love and people and grass and laughter and dance and like body and affection. And I was like, oh my God, like this is wealth. I'm like so concerned about what I've been told wealth is. And mind you, yes, you still have to survive in a functioning society. So like go back home and also fill out job applications. But also like it's so important to recognize that when you have your own personal definition of abundance, you can live by that, and that can be your source of joy. So yes, figure out what your personal definition of fun, of abundance, and freedom is, and ask yourself if you are living by these personal truths. So those are the journaling prompts. I invite you to really sit with them, preferably during the day. And that segues beautifully into the next point, which is yes, set intention and take aligned action. Gosh, it timed out and I only have a minute. So yes, take aligned action, go outside, and that's it. I have to go because I don't know the password to make it stay any longer. So yes, do those journaling prompts, set intentions, and I love you guys. Happy summer solstice. Also wear yellow. Okay, bye.